It's 4 a.m. Sorry for the poor lighting. We're about to hit the road for this 6-hour drive. And guess who's taking first shift? Nami! Okay, I wanted to take a second real quick to show you guys as I'm printing out some things today. It's Sunday, it's the 11th. I still have all week to kind of prep for the convention on the weekend, but I did want to take a moment and stop and share with you guys, which I don't think I've done before, especially because I haven't gotten a printer to do my own prints for conventions, minus this one. But I just wanted to show you guys the type of paper I'm using and the printer I'm using, which I've shared in other videos, but I can do it again. And, you know, just kind of go over a little bit of that because it's kind of new and it's kind of different. I still don't print out all of my prints, like my 11 by 17s, I'm still getting done by cat printing because I feel like even though the printer I have is a wide format printer, I don't know if I want to try printing out that big just yet, or if I want to try to pay for the quality of paper that I have standards for you know, bigger prints like that. Because in my mind, I'm like, if it's a bigger print, it should be of a nicer quality paper. Anyways, okay, let me show you what we're working with. So the printer that I'm currently working with is an Epson XP 1500, which isn't, you know, when I was researching all my computers, all my printers rather, this was the one that kind of compared the best to the Canon PIXMA 100, which a lot of artists recommend. Even the Canon PIXMA 200, which is really good. I just didn't have the ability to find one for my price range because I didn't know if this was something I wanted to do long term. I just kind of wanted to dabble in it, but I didn't want to get any kind of HP printer. So this is what I ended up getting. I think it was still around $250 to $300. I could probably find it in my finances, but I don't honestly know off the tippy top of my head. But yes, this is what we work with. So my primarily printing paper that I've been using, at least to start off with, is this Koala 8.5 by 11 that is a premium photo paper that's a luster. And let me show you why it's a luster. I have a thing for texture. So this paper is like a nice mix between matte and gloss, but on top of that, and I'm hoping there's a way it'll come across on the white paper, but it might not. There's a nice little bumpy texture that you can feel. It feels really nice when you touch it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I like paper that has texture. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. You can get this off of Amazon. And this other paper that I have been using is the Red River Paper Gloss Metallic 8.5 by 11. This stuff is expensive. This one, I got 50 sheets. I don't remember how much it was, but it was not nearly as much as this stuff. But that being said, the paper quality is top notch. Let me show y'all. Just look at that. Beauty, grace, the sheen, the shine. The only downside, and I don't even know if this is really a super downside, is that it's kind of lightweight. So like, you can see that it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's got a curve to it. Like when I pick it up and hold it, you see how it's got a bend. Not a bad thing, but if I hold my luster paper, it's got more thickness to it. You know, if I'm sitting there and I'm holding it, it's not super duper bending. My computer's yelling at me. It's always yelling at me. Whereas this, you know, even if I try to hold it flat, it doesn't. Again, not a bad thing at all. It's just something you have to keep in mind. Like, it's not super duper heavy as if it's a cardstock or anything like that. But let me show you what the metallic paper looks like in a print. And you can hear my printer going off in the background as it does stuff. See, it is a beautiful, shiny color. It makes all of the colors pop. I'm using it for my Master Sword one, just because I really, really like how it looks. But there's your metallic paper. Very nice, very pretty, very ooh, ah, ee. The luster paper looks like so. I'm basically using a majority of my prints as luster, and only like some designs that I feel like the metallic shines best with for metallic, especially since I only have like, you know, 20 of those. I ain't using a lot. But the luster paper, there you go. Now you can see. You see those nice little grits and dots? So nice. So cool. This will technically be the first con that I'm taking my own prints like this too. So I'm excited to see how people react to it or like it or anything like so. I like how this looks. I'm thoroughly happy, and I've ordered from cat printing for a lot of things, and I still love cat printing, and I will swear to it. But if you have the ability, there's something nice to be said, to be done about saying like, yeah, I drew this and then I produced it myself. This is all me. Here you go. It's probably just a me thing, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm going to continue printing out, some more of these. I'm printing out, I redesigned my Bob's Burger little duck print. So we got a new design on that. Again, luster paper, you can see. I'm doing my Zelda portraits as these nice little square designs. Also the first time that I'm doing square designs. I actually think this is the one that's too big. Yeah, I think this was like the 6x6, and I wanted to do 5.5 by 5.5. Don't worry about the sizing. Anyways, so yeah, printing's going on. I'm hoping, I don't know if I can get it all done today, but I'm gonna get through a good chunk of it because I want to go ahead and have that done so I can work on, other stuff. Okay, taking another moment. A lot of my 17 Master Sword prints came in from Cat Print right on time. Yo, you guys are the best. And I used, oh my gosh, there we go. This is my first time trying out a different paper type. I was trying to see, since I love the luster paper so much that I have for my other prints, the ones I've been doing here at home, I wanted to see if Cat Print had something kind of like that available for their prints. And I know it's probably better for me to order a sample box or something like that, but I didn't really have the time for this con. I might try to do it to remind myself afterwards, but I just had to get something to see. I don't know. I don't mind getting prints in different kind of paper styles. I don't mind trying out, different kind of paper styles for prints. And this one is okay. It's definitely got a little bit of nice shine, but not nearly as much as I'm used to with other papers. It does have a texture, even though it is very subtle. Can you kind of tell up in here? My problem is that it doesn't feel like it has texture. The thing I love a lot about these luster papers is that you can see it, but you can feel it. It feels like it has texture. This one still feels, when I rub my fingers on it, very smooth. Finished up these commission examples that I'm going to try out this weekend using my POPCON markers. So I have done only one video before about these beauties, but these are basically paint markers. They are literally just paint in a marker. And I have discovered using Bristol board is the best. I feel like if I do these little squares and then round the corners beforehand is really cute. And just test it out using them. I learned a lot. My process was doing the background first and then basically laying the layers on and then doing the line art last, which is definitely not a part of my normal process when I do art. And something I also kind of picked up that I'll have to keep better in mind when I do an actual commission for people. The colors not change, but color theory, when you take something and you put it beside something else, it kind of almost changes how the first color appears. Well, I had this color as Phoenix's skin tone, and then halfway through it, I was like, crap, I don't actually super duper like that. But it was too late. I stuck it through, and then I had to use the same color for Miles's hair since he has silver hair. And that also could just be a fact of that I don't have enough paint pens, and so I was kind of having to pick between whatever. I mean, I super duper don't have any good skin colors. I just got a new pack, which included this color, which is the one I did for Phoenix, and then this color. Oh, and then this brown. So I'm glad I have one brown. Whoop-de-doo. I feel like that might be the hardest part for commissions, because in the past I would do Copics, and I have a lot of Copics as well. And I would use those, and then I can, use whatever colors are needed. But since I'm trying out paint markers, I'm a bit more limited. And so what I might do is make sure I, tell people like, hey, limited color palette, keep that in mind. Thank you so much. Boom. I also haven't decided price. What I've done in the past is $30 to $35 for my commissions, and then plus $15 for an additional character. I'm thinking about either moving this to $40 or $50 plus $15 for 2 characters. I can knock them out relatively quick, and I always offer shipping if I don't get them done by the end of the week, but it kind of just depends. I think it'll be one of those things. I write my commission prices and stuff on a whiteboard, so if I feel like I need to change it, I can always change it. Although I tend to go low and then charge up. That way I feel like I'm not like duping anybody out. I would hate, to charge $50 and then charge $40 the next day because it wasn't getting enough, and then the first person's like angry because I charged $50 and then like, what? No. I'd rather shoot low, and then that way it's like, oh, well, you got a deal because you got it lower. So, granted, I could be flopped on its head, and it's like, oh, well, why didn't you charge me for that price? I haven't had any issue like that, but it's just one of those things you have to keep in mind when you're working on trying to do commissions at cons. Wanted to share this. We're not going to go into super deep detail about how this works, but I did want to show you guys how I handle con inventory. I just have this on a spreadsheet on my Google, and what I try to do, and I'll grant it, I kind of forget sometimes, but I try to keep track of like what I sell which day. So I kind of keep track of like, if we go back to say GalaxyCon Columbus, here you can see, we sold 2 GameCube mini prints, one on Sunday, one on Saturday. And I kind of use this as an idea to see, the DSi print got 5 sales. And, I just use this to keep track of what sells the most days, what is kind of the popular thing at conventions. And it also helps me figure out my net profit. I try my best, but granted, I know I'm gonna be off, at least a little bit. But I have this set up where it adds up each item that I sell each day, and then I have how much it costs for me to get that item. So I keep track of like, when I order keychains, if we get on the keychains, I order keychains from my Vogue race, whatever, and then I keep track of what it costs. At the very top, you can see, it individually cost me $2.67 to get one keychain made. And so I need to update like all the stock. The stock is not up to date. I literally just copy and pasted, and I was like, let me share how this works. And again, if you guys are super interested in this, I can do a separate video where I'll, screen capture it and make it nicer, but I just kind of wanted to go, hey, look at this. Because it just helps me keep track of like my net profit. That is one thing I always try to keep track is, when I say my overall profit, I try my best to keep track of how much it costs the merchandise as well. Like, it's not just, the cost of the hotel, the cost of gas, the cost of eating. It's also all of those things, and then the merchandise. But the merchandise is kind of hard to tally in because you have so many different merchandises. So that's what this spreadsheet is supposed to kind of keep track for me. And at the bottom, these are outdated as well because I copy and pasted from MissouriCon. But if we go to GalaxyCon, it will, you can see at the very bottom, I've got like mass grand total numbers, and I've got table and hotel and gas and parking and what it costs for me to just break even for those things. And so that's just how I keep track of the financing stuff. And I have it broken down into individuals too. So like if we go to GalaxyCon and we scroll down, and you can see where I have the grand total of everything, including the cost of merchandise and the cost of the net profit and all that stuff. And then I've got separate table, gas, hotel, parking fees, you know, all of those things I list in my videos at the end. But it's kind of hard sometimes to mention the merchandise price, because like, I know this is a number, but you know it's always going to sometimes be a couple dollars or $10-$20 off. It's never exactly exact, and maybe that's bad on me, bad Billy for not being exact, but I get close enough, and to me that's the best I can do. But yes, and this will also help. I have it as totals per items. So I've got buttons, and then I'd say, oh, this is how much I made net profit from buttons. Oh, this is our sales for charms. We got $500 in charm sales on GalaxyCon, you know, Columbus the whole time. And it's kind of cool to keep track of what does the best, to see the difference between, okay, charms was 500, well shoot, stickers was like 400, and prints was 300. I say 300, but you know that it's a little bit different. Anyway, so it's good. It's good to keep track of stuff like that for these kind of events. You can see your overall plan and your overall financial status. I don't know. Inventory is good. When we're doing the con, like, I don't have this pulled up. We don't really have this pulled up. I try to pull it up on my phone and then plug all the information in. By information, I mean like what we sell per day. I try to plug that in at the end of the day, but sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes your girl is just so tired. And so it kind of takes me like for the next morning, or even at the whole end of the event, I'll go through, we have a little tiny booklet, and we'll try to keep track. And again, sometimes it's just busy and you don't keep track of, you know, a sale. Some person walks away and then we look at each other and we're like, what did they just get? I don't know. I just handed it to them and I already forgot. Like, that happens all the time. I'm so forgetful. I live in the moment way too much. But I'll look back through that little booklet and I'll be like, okay, yeah, they got one Sailor Moon and they got one red and one blue, blah, 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 whatever. So yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys as well. How many thumbs up? We should do a thumb up counter in this vlog. Ding. Okay, we are about 2 hours out, I think. It's 8 o'clock for us Central Time. I say Central because I did not realize that Kentucky is in Eastern Time. And so we're technically gonna get there at 11 instead of 10 like I had originally wanted / planned. So we're gonna be rushing it a little bit, and that already kind of adds to my nerves because this is the first time we've ever gone like on Friday morning to set up. But technically, I don't think it's gonna take us too long. We have 2 people, we know the drill, we know what we're doing. It's not like anything we haven't done before, but it's my turn to drive, and we still have to get breakfast.
The economic situation.
Still gotta get breakfast, and gonna be good.
What are those?
Okay, one side is done. Hair is done. I didn't do an intro this morning or talked about how yesterday went because I'm really bad at it, and we got to the hotel and it was very late. But they just opened the doors for VIP guests today, Saturday, and we are already, would you say we're over halfway for breaking even? Or like about halfway? Over halfway?
Yesterday we got 325 plus buttons, so we're at 350 from yesterday.
Is that over halfway?
I think our break-even was like 2 minutes.
We're over halfway already on Friday, which is a really good sign. I'm hoping we can break even early Saturday morning, and then everything else is profit. But we're set up for sure. This is $2. Cash your card. All right. You guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you. Our space behind the table is a little different this time because we've got space behind us. We got this big square opened up for, I guess, just open space. It's actually fine. I had some other artists talk about like, oh, it could have been cooler if we were rows, that way more people could come in. But honestly, for a first year convention, it's kind of for the best that there's not as many artists because it would then be oversaturated. But yeah, now we're able to use our 2 bins and it not be crammed under the table. It's a moon castle. We love the moon. And we're gonna take some love. Take the darker red. I like to go right in here. So now what I tend to do is take the, which one is one? The Silver Millennium right in here. And maybe a little bit like Twilight Flash, any kind of light color. We're gonna go right in the corner and I just like rub my eye a little bit. Last little touch I like to do, take the full moon, this glitter gold or whatever, and then maybe a little bit of the Mare Serenitatis. This is like a very, the sparkles are kind of big and so they don't stick too well. So we'll grab full moon first. Again, I just use my finger and I just rub it in the center. Nothing crazy. You just add some sparkle. That's light and put it right here at the bridge of your nose. Kind of adds a little extra oomph. I just got this recently, like the other day recently, like very recently. And this is just an really extra shiny gloss look that I like. We're good to go. Okay, it's Sunday. I keep forgetting to do intros for the days, but it's halfway through the day. I think it's like 12, almost 12:30. We just had lunch. Sunday has been very slow, much more slow than Friday, surprisingly. I thought Sunday tends to be a little bit busier than Friday, but this just goes to show that like every convention is different. If you go in and you think you know, you don't know. I think we've made 120-ish, and it's been 4 hours by now, which is like fine and dandy, and we've already broke even, so it's not like terrible, but you know, it's not like the best. There's just no people. Hey, all you people, where are you? I'm kidding. We have till 5. The venue hall closes at 5. I don't think we'll try to close early, but we'll also kind of see, because we got like a 6-hour drive back. But yeah, we're still having fun. We're making the best of it. It's 4:30. We've got 30 minutes left until the vendor hall closes. We might go ahead and start doing some light closing up, which is basically like, you know, I'll take my stickers out of the tins. I'll put those away because I already have them on the board, and so I'm not too worried about like, oh, I don't see your designs. Small things like that, little tiny things before we decide to pack up for realsies. Also, you like my earrings? I got them here. Girl, I'm trying to record. Hold on. Okay. I am home. It is Tuesday, not Monday. I always kind of spend like the first day after a convention relaxing and decompressing and enjoying my pets. Also, if y'all haven't seen, this is Milk. Milk, say hi. She's being very affectionate right now, so I don't really apologize. I love it when she's sweet, but not when she rubs against the microphone. Okay, closing thoughts. Since now it has been a day and I can tally up things and kind of put my thoughts of how this convention went together, I would say out of a 10, I would put POPCON Louisville at like a 6. It was a good convention. It was a good convention. I think its quote-unquote downfall, which wasn't really a downfall, is just that there wasn't enough people. Friday was surprisingly busy. Didn't expect it. Saturday was slower-ish than Friday. It kind of was, you know, depended on like the time, basically. But we did make more money on Saturday, which is pretty normal. You'll hear that from a lot of vendors, and you'll see it yourself for all those other, you know, fellow vendors that watch. Saturdays always tend to do better. I think it surprised me that Friday did good. I always thought like, oh, people with the 3-day passes are gonna wait till Sunday and then they're just gonna like get their things on Sunday, which was not the case. Sunday was incredibly slow. And I don't know if it was the case of like, oh, they were all at events. No, I think there just wasn't any people, which is understandable. It was its first year, had a lot of good VAs that came and cool events. I know Eric went to go see like a magic show or something, and he had a really good time. So I think it has potential to grow. To my understanding, it already PopCon has like a multi-year contract with that event hall, so they will. I mean, like they were already sending out emails on Saturday talking about the dates and the time for next year, and I was like, oh man. I don't know if we will be here next year because, fun fact, Eric and I are moving to Germany about next summer if all goes well, and I don't know if we're going to do that like in July. It's technically June, so I don't know, so I haven't even thought about it because I just take things one step at a time. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the age-old question that every vendor wants to know and every artist wants to know: is this convention worth it? And I think something that needs to be stated that everyone should definitely hear is that everyone's definition of whether or not an event is worth it is different. If you're looking at like monetary value, like yeah, it's important, but you also want to factor in like, you know, did you get a bunch of new followers for your social medias? Did you get really cool connections? Did you make friendship, you know? And then other factors into that are like, you know, did you fly? Did you drive? Did you have to get a hotel? Were you local? There's a lot of things that go into it, and I find myself, the more of these that I do, and you know, the more connections that I make and stuff like that, it's harder for me to be like, oh, is it worth it? Let's talk about money, because y'all know I'm transparent. Y'all don't have to be transparent. I totally get it. I just do it for freaking, I don't know. Our table for PopCon cost $275. Wow. The hotel was about $189. We got a red roof. I tend to always get red roof because they have mini fridges and microwaves. And I will say this red roof was pretty good. Hotel's $189. The gas, we kind of averaged to be about $80, give or take. Parking in general is like $27. To break that down by 2 days, I think it was like $12 and $15. I don't really remember. I can't recall. I'm sorry. But me personally, I don't factor in food costs. I know some artists do, I don't, because you gotta eat. Granted, you know, we don't eat lunch on, like, we don't eat lunch there. Like, we don't pay to eat lunch there. We tend to bring our own lunch, even though I'm finding out some conventions say not to do that. But listen, if you don't say anything, I won't say anything. No one has to know. But yeah, so we try to do that, and then we'll eat out, you know, after the conventions. So, but you gotta eat. Girls gotta eat. Y'all gotta eat. Guys gotta eat. They, thems, we all got to eat. And I don't factor that in. So, we're looking here. Imagine, you know, I'm assuming my lovely editor is going to put my number of digits here. Tables $275, hotels $189, gas is $80, parking $27. I'm hoping I did this math correctly. That gives us a break even of $571. Again, give me a little leeway, but for the most part, I needed to make this amount back to at least make it fair that I went out there. And we ended up making, how do I say math in English? $1,311. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm really bad at pronouncing things, numbers and stuff right, which is good. This isn't square and cash. Woo! This was the first convention I had where I basically sold about the same amount of different products, I guess I should say. Like, I sold about the same in monetary value of stickers and pins and prints and keychains. What I'm saying is it's cool to see all of my stuff do well and not just my one thing over here. So we have our break even, we have our sales amount. Do the math for that. We're basically profiting $740. Bow! This, it could be a couple dollars less or more. One thing I don't factor in a whole bunch is cost of merchandise, right? I know I have it in my spreadsheet, but I know my spreadsheet could be off a little bit. I have a separate spreadsheet, like an art store spreadsheet, where I do factor in, specifically how much things cost when I got it. This is how much money we've made this month. And it kind of gives me a better amount. But that's for like the overall store. We're just talking about like small things. Or not small things, but we're talking about specific events, in these kind of vlog videos. So $740 is pretty good. It's not like top notch. And it could be better. I don't think it's that bad. If I look at this, and then I look at the connections I made, and I look at the friends I met, and more people kind of coming to meet me and joining my social medias and stuff like that, I consider it a W. I also tend to look at the positive outlook in life, I guess, so I don't know. It's all up to you guys. I tend to go to these events with a mindset of I'm going to take something away, right? Like, I'm going to learn something at every single one. Every single one until... there's not even until. I think even people that I've talked to that have been doing this for years and years and years, they still kind of pick up on small little things here and there. There's new ways to display something. There's new products that are kind of coming out that people are enjoying. There's always going to be something changing and growing and becoming new, because that's what we are as humans. That's what we do, and that's what our art is going to reflect. So I think it'd be good. If I knew for certain that I was going to be here next year, I would probably do it again. If you are local to like the Kentucky area, keep an eye out. I do think it has potential to grow, and I hope, I hope to see it. So I think the Midwest in general needs a lot more and better conventions, that's for certain. But I will also be going to POPCON and in Indianapolis. I'm bad at saying that. The whole vlog's gonna be a pain of me trying to say Indianapolis. Anyways. This was the first convention that I did run into some people that were like, oh my gosh, I watch your YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Welcome in, hi. So very special shout out to you guys. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see you. I just treat these things like we're hanging out, to be honest. It's basically the same way I Twitch stream. So, plug. I Twitch stream almost daily. I do art in video games and things like that, but I also work on commissions on it too. Okay, plug out. Anyways, I think this con went good. I hope to see it grow. No other closing statements. I'm gonna go leave and make myself a coffee. Bye! Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye!